Before, you spent a lot of time and focus on small-sized businesses, investing your own money, because you had a huge exit back in the day, having, of course, been the CEO, co-founder of DoubleClick, sold it to Google. Now, what is the reason you're bringing on external LPs?
Yeah, it's more thinking long-term. You know, I'm still a very important LP in this fund, but when I think over the next 20, 25 years, I think AlleyCorp will be a firm that is here, that is very present, that is going to be one of the leading firms. And to do that, you want to have sustainable source of money for the next 7 funds. And so this is the beginning step for that.
Beginning step in taking bets on beginning businesses, seeds and Series A?
Yeah, it's not changing what we're doing yet. We do 2 things. We start companies from scratch. So I start 6 to 8 companies a year. And then we invest in probably 15 to 20. So we have a portfolio of over 100 companies, and I have a 24-person team. And so we've been doing that. We're going to continue to do that. And we're still seeing, incredible opportunities out there.
Many would know you for helping seed MongoDB,
Yep.
which, of course, big exit, traded here in New York. But is that still the kind of company you want to be getting into? We're all talking about generative AI at the moment, but you're also focused on healthcare. Tell us the theses that you want to get into.
We have a couple different industry groups that we're focused on. So AI is definitely an important thing. I just started a company with some people on my team called Radical that is a company focused on AI for materials science. There's a very specific, very technical area and an enormous, enormous area. So that's a fundamental trend. Last year, we started a company in assisted fertility. You and I both know that 20 years ago, none of our friends were having their eggs frozen or IVF. That's growing. It will continue to grow for the next 10 years. We have a big healthcare portfolio, so present in a lot of different areas, mental health areas in particular, psychedelics in particular. Started one company that's raised over $50 million already, and I'm looking to start another company in that space. So the point is there are pockets and things to be done. Technology is continuing to change the world and make it a better place, and we just want to think of these ideas or recognize them and help build these companies.
Kevin, you called them pockets, but I kind of recognize outliers of activity. You see a lot of rounds being done in AI. Actually, I'm starting to see some in industrial technology. But I guess the commonality of the last 12 months is that at each round, the check size is getting bigger. And I wondered if you needed that $250 million from outside investors because you got to write bigger checks.
No, our check size isn't really changing that much. I had invested over $250 million in the last several years, so this is a continuation of that. Some of the companies like Mongo, we started that 15 years ago with $1 million. Dwight Merriman and I put that money in. But we raised $400 million as a private company and then spent another $600 million as a public company to get to break even. So large companies do take a lot of capital. We're not going to provide all of it. Early stage investors are taking the most risk and getting the most return by coming up with that idea in the very beginning. But luckily, there are lots of late stage funds that step in to help fund these.
Were you able to be selective with LPs, or were these LPs that were kind of coming to you and saying, I want some exposure to what's happening in AI right now. Can you offer that to me?
Yeah, we were fortunate. We were able to be pretty selective. We really just went out to family offices. It's a pretty small list of people. We wanted families that would add value. So these are all people that had come from the healthcare industry, the technology industry, something else. We can call on them if we want to do some due diligence. So we're pretty happy with that list of investors. We didn't go very widely. There aren't large institutions. We don't have pension funds because, at least at this point, they would add less value than some of the family offices.
I started this conversation by calling the Godfather of NYC tech. And it is because NYC tech is now getting really serious. People do feel that there's an about change. And you've been there for a long time saying there are businesses to be built here and businesses to invest in. Are we just drinking our own Kool-Aid here at the moment?
It's incredibly clear. It's the fastest growing and has been the fastest growing tech center in the United States. Because people forget today that 25 years ago, there was no tech in New York. People would ask me, why is DoubleClick in New York and why not in Boston? No one would say that today. So today, New York already employs as many people in tech as San Francisco. There is no doubt in my mind that when we're sitting here 10 years from now, New York will be a much bigger center of employment for tech, and we'll start to have some of the very biggest companies out here. This is a place that has human talent. The top graduates from the entire Ivy League, MIT, everyone, where do they want to live? They want to live in New York City. And that's what drives our industry, and it will continue to drive the industry.